Take a look at these two wrestlers. Exactly the same popularity, exactly the same star power, yet one is white hot and the other is ice cold. How can that happen? More importantly, which one would you rather push? Most TEW players know momentum is important, but very few actually understand what it's measuring. Today, we're going to fix that. Welcome back to the TEW Official Handbook Explained series. Everything in this series is based on the official player handbook wherever possible. If we move beyond the handbook into developer comments or community experience, I'll clearly tell you. That way, you'll always know what's officially documented and what's based on years of playing the game. Last episode, we learned that every match produces 3 important ratings: the wrestling rating, the crowd rating, and finally, the segment rating. We also discovered that popularity has a huge influence on those ratings depending on your company product. Popularity is essentially your wrestler's long-term reputation. Momentum is something completely different. This is where a lot of players accidentally mix the two together. They assume momentum simply means winning matches. It doesn't, or at least not anymore. Let's look at what the handbook tells us. It describes momentum as one of the worker's attributes that represents how much momentum a worker currently has. Notice something interesting though? The handbook doesn't publish the exact formula. It tells us what momentum represents, but not every calculation happening behind the scenes. So to understand a little more, we can turn the comments from TEW creator Adam Ryland. This is probably the biggest thing most TEW players don't know. According to Adam, momentum actually exists in 2 different forms. There's short-term momentum. You'll never actually see this. It's hidden inside the game. Then there's long-term momentum. That's the momentum value you actually see on your worker's profile. Here's the clever part. The visible momentum isn't changing every single match. Instead, your hidden momentum slowly pulls the visible momentum along. Imagine pouring water into a bucket. The top bucket fills first. Then it slowly drips into the second bucket underneath. That's basically how momentum works. The game remembers what you've been doing recently, before gradually updating the number you're actually seeing. So why does that matter? So let's imagine 2 different pushers. Who's going to build stronger momentum? Probably Booker B. Not because of the incredible match, but because momentum rewards consistency. Momentum isn't about winning. This is another interesting point Adam explained. Older versions of TEW focused much more heavily on wins and losses. TEW's momentum system evolved. Today, momentum also considers overall performance. So it isn't simply asking, did you win? It's asking, how is this worker progressing overall? Now let's move away from the handbook for a moment. Everything from here onwards comes from community testing and years of player experience. One of the most interesting discoveries is that a successful gimmick change appears to reset workers' momentum back to neutral. So if you've got somebody who's completely ice cold, a fresh gimmick can effectively give them a clean slate, as long as it's successful. Players have also reported similar behaviour after successful face and heel turns. If you're enjoying learning how TEW IX really works, hit like and subscribe. We're working through the official handbook one mechanic at a time, and next episode we're tackling another of the most misunderstood systems in the entire game. So hopefully I'll see you there. Another trick players have discovered involves character ideas. Successful character ideas appear to increase momentum. Failed character ideas can reduce them. Again, this isn't explained in the handbook, it's simply something experienced players have consistently observed. If I'm trying to build someone into a future main eventer, I don't panic if they aren't immediately white hot after one victory. Momentum appears to erode patience. I'd rather book 6 weeks of consistent success than one shocking upset followed by 3 losses. If someone's momentum has completely collapsed, I'd also consider whether a gimmick change or a character refresh makes sense instead of simply booking more wins. I think the biggest misconception about momentum is this. People treat it like a light switch. Win, momentum goes up. Lose, momentum goes down. The reality appears to be much more like steering a large ship. Small adjustments today change where you're heading several weeks from now. So let's bring everything together. Momentum is not the same thing as popularity. Popularity measures how over somebody is. Momentum measures how hot they currently are. The handbook explains that momentum represents. The handbook explains what momentum represents. Adam Ryland has explained that the hidden Short-term momentum gradually feeds into the visible long-term momentum you see in the game. And years of community testing suggest that the gimmick changes, successful turns, and character ideas can all be useful tools for rebuilding or improving momentum. The biggest lesson? Momentum isn't built overnight. It's built through consistent booking. Next episode, we're tackling another mechanic that catches players out: popularity. Not what it is, we've already covered that, but how wrestlers actually gain it, lose it, and why some workers seem impossible to get over. Because once you understand that, you'll start booking completely differently. Thanks again, everyone, and I'll catch you down the road.